Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and I am in the dark. Today we have Tiger Cruise. This is a 2004 Disney Channel original movie. Yeah, it's an hour and 28 minutes long, and it stars Hayden Panettiere. You might recognize her from a number of things, but most notably Heroes, football movie with Denzel Washington. It's also on Disney Plus. I've already forgot. Dang it, I'm just tap it already. Just come on, give me the reference. Remember the Titans. Yeah, when she was super little. Here she's a teenager, and probably I think this is right before she went on to do Heroes. I'm pretty sure. Well, you're wondering Tiger Cruise. If you're not from a Navy family, you probably have no idea what this is. I did not either. I had no idea what to expect from this. This Disney Channel, it feels like a Disney Channel original movie to a certain degree. It has the chops to have been something a little bit, maybe it could have been a feature, maybe, but it might have been a little too soon, and I'll get to that in a minute. Not that some other people didn't beat these creators to the punch when it comes to the main topic of this film. This is for you don't if you don't know what a Tiger Cruise is, it's basically a time when the people who are out on the ships, big aircraft carriers, things like that, are allowed to bring in members of their family. Usually not spouses or other things like that, apparently, but they can bring in family members. So if you're a young guy or gal on the ship and you want to bring your parents, like have your dad come by and hang out, or your brother, your little brother, like your kids, nephew, niece, whatever. If you want to have any of these, or little sister in the case of one of these kids, uh, crewmen, you can do that. Basically they spend a week out in the ship, and you get to see what it's like in the day to day life of aircraft carrier crewmen, and it's kind of interesting. A lot of this stuff. They get to do kid stuff, and the adults do adult stuff. But most of this is focused on the kids. Hayden is one of them, and her dad happens to be the XO, played by Bill Pullman. And if you know who Bill Pullman is, or you don't know, well, if you've ever seen Independence Day, some of you, yeah, if you've seen Independence Day, this is a man who played the president and gave the speech that rallied the world to fight against impossible odds to beat the aliens, along with Jeff Goldblum and what's wrong with my brain? Will Smith. Oh my God, it's a rough week for me. Anyway, so Hayden, it mainly focuses on Hayden and her strange decision to actually go on the Tiger Cruise, even though she had said she didn't want to do it in previous years. Her little sister wants to go. I said, nope, she can't go. She's just going on her own. And her mom's a little perplexed as to why she's going. But she it quickly becomes apparent that she's missing her dad. And she's not exactly like, oh, Dad, I miss you. She's kind of pissed at him. She's pissed at him that he's spent her entire life away from the family, and he sees this as his duty, and as something that uh, it's his job. It's what he was born to do, or it's what he has to do. That's what he's been called to do. So it's understandable. He doesn't do it in a weird, haughty way, like "Oh, I'm so special." No, he's a good leader, and he has that gravitas he earned from as a leader, not just a military hero, but a leader, but as the president in Independence Day. Because if you've seen Independence Day, then your brain, when he starts speaking to like the crowd, the people on the ship, or giving a speech, you're always thinking of that Independence Day speech. And he's a good choice for this, because Bill Pullman's a pretty great guy, and he's kind of got that whole. He's got that trustworthy hero character face. So, though Paxton, which some people get mixed up, he's played bad guys as well as good guys. I can't think of any bad guys that Pullman's played over his years. If he has, and I just can't think of it because hey, I couldn't think of Will Smith a second ago. You can tell me, and I'm wrong. But he's the late great Bill Pullman, by the way, and unfortunately he passed a little while ago. He and her he and his daughter Hayden, she plays Maddie. They butt heads a little bit, and she, now in the mix of things, she gets into trouble with some of the kids she meets up with. They're going places in the ship they're not supposed to go, and it's almost like she's acting out a bit. I'm not going to give you the whole story because this is what I'm telling you right now is mainly inconsequential and just sort of sets up the main point of the film. She gets him. She sort of corners him and talks to him, and she basically explains why she was there and that she wants him to come home, to basically not re-up and come back and be part of their family once again. And he agrees. Problem is, and there's going to be a problem. That's you're not even halfway through the film, and not even a quarter of the way through. Probably maybe 20 minutes in. I don't know. I didn't keep track, but this doesn't take too long. Beyond, a lot of the stuff in the beginning is padding out, getting to know supporting characters, the friends she meets along the way, which one is a boy who is sent there to visit his brother. He doesn't really want to be there. He likes to play drums, and I don't know. He likes to play drums. He's actually a pretty decent actor. Hayden, of course, also. People sometimes, discount, oh, well, because they didn't do a prestige kind of film, or they're not, actors. You don't give them enough credit. Hayden is wonderfully expressive throughout this. She's got these sort of disenchanted, sarcastic teen thing going for her at this point, and she's almost locked into that for a lot of this. Even when her dad says, "Hey, don't be a smartass," because he didn't say ass, but don't be a smart ass when you, because she says, he tells her something and she goes, "Aye, Captain," and he's like, "You don't need to be sarcastic," and she's like, "I'm not. I'm actually being. I'll do what you ask. I'll do it." And he's like, "Yeah, I can't tell anymore." And when it comes to Hayden, yeah, you can't really tell because she does play the disaffected teen pretty well, and as she did in Heroes, but she just happened to be indestructible in that one. So, well, she could be pretty messed up, but healed quickly. Anyway, Hayden gets her way, or Maddie gets her way. But the next day, oh, okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta set this up a little bit further. Beyond the boy who doesn't want to be there, he just likes to play drums, and he's kind of he's helping to get the girls in trouble. There's another girl whose sister is a pilot. She's a jet fighter pilot, and she's enthusiastic. She's telling everybody about her sister on the plane there, and she's telling everybody that she wants to be part of this, and she wants to be like her sister when she's old enough. And then there's a little boy who's brought there to see his mom, who is serving on the ship as well. I think she might be a pilot too. I can't remember. But he is actually played by Hayden's little brother. His name's what is it? Come on, where are you? Jansen Panettiere. I'm pretty sure it's her little brother. Cousin, maybe, I don't know, but I think it's her little brother, Joey. And so these four kids, and you follow these four kids, and you follow also an older gentleman whose son is working in the Navy, but he's a cook. He makes cookies and meals and other things like that. Where Dad was a Marine, and he's a little bit, down on the Navy, because that's what you do when you're. But he's like, "Hey, my son went in the Navy. Too bad he couldn't be a Marine." He's always sort of cutting away at things, and he thinks he knows everything. He knows his way around. He has a little bit of trouble working things out and getting along with his son. He's not cruel, but he's a little bit obnoxious about things when he doesn't need to be. His name's Chuck, but he's played by Troy Evans, and he is a character actor extraordinaire. You've seen him in a billion zillion different TV shows and movies over the years. The moment you see him, you'll be like, "I saw him in XYZ," and just I don't know how many things. But if you've seen enough movies like I have, or TV shows, he's usually the kind of guy who might have He might be on a regular series, or he might be the guy who just shows up for an episode. So yeah, you'll recognize him. But he's great too. So the thing is, yes, it's a Disney Channel original movie, but the acting is good. There are moments. It's not consistent along the way, but it's actually better than it should be. You don't normally get solid acting. And by the way, because what I'm about to tell you, will has a tendency to cause actors to lean hard into melodrama, lean hard into cheese. And thankfully, that yes, it has its share. It has its fair share of that in the film, but it doesn't do it overwhelmingly. But strangely enough. So anyway, going all the way back to the thing I was going to tell you before, and now we're already 11 minutes into this thing. The point of this film is that after Dad agrees to come home and not re-up after his the last tour is done, be part of the family. The next day is September 11th, 2001. Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not 21 years old or younger, you remember that day very well. Or if you're not 20, at least 20 years younger than 20 years, you remember that day very well. And I'm not about to make light of that day in any way whatsoever, so no fear of that. But there's been our share of reenactments of that day on movies and documentaries and all sorts of major feature films. I think one starring Mark Wahlberg and who knows, but there's all sorts of levels. I think Oliver Stone do one. I don't know, but there's all sorts of different films that look to reflect on that day and the days following, sometimes the days leading up to it, and following the melodrama from various different points of view. Well, here we are on a ship in the Pacific that's launched from San Diego. You know it's San Diego because one of the shots that they filmed, one of the shots that they filmed as an airport was actually in the San Diego Convention Center, which I was in last week for San Diego Comic-Con. So that was kind of cool to go, oh, there's Hall G. Like, okay, that's just my little thing. So yeah, they did shoot it in San Diego. They did shoot it on a ship. It was not out at sea because there's an awful lot of green screen in this movie. So much green screen, and none of it's good. None of it's good. The budget up for the green screen was less than I probably have. So that's not a lot. So yeah, there's shots where they're standing near a ship in the background. They're on the dock, like, oh, hugging people. Oh, I missed you. And it's obviously, there's like all sorts of weird pixely, edgy stuff around them. And you're like, oh, okay, that's a green screen. There's shots where they're just sort of sitting in an area that looks out over the ocean. Definitely green screen. It's just the way it is. Anyway, 9/11 happens. And of course, they are the furthest place away from everything that's happened on 9/11, New York City, to they went from San Diego. They flew from San Diego and they launched. They actually flew to Hawaii and then launched, or Seattle or whatever. They launched from Pearl Harbor, and there's a ton of foreshadowing in that, talking about how we were taken unawares. And they show the USS Arizona, and they show that there was over 1,000 people killed in that surprise attack during World War II when the Japanese invaded the Pearl Harbor, and it was one of the biggest, up to that point, one of the biggest tragedies, possibly the biggest tragedy on American soil ever until 9/11. And and everybody sort of salutes it as they, wrong hand. They salute it as they launch from Pearl Harbor. Ironically, not so ironically, and we get to see the fallout of how they have to handle this very unknown, this very stressful situation. On the other side of the country, they're out in the Pacific Ocean. They're having a great time showing the kids and the families what they do on their ship, and suddenly they might be thrust into war. they have something like 800 800 civilians on board. And supposedly this is based on true events. Although they say that at the end, I'm not really sure if the true events just they mean 9/11 or if this actually happened on a real ship during this time. And I imagine there were real ships. Whether there's a Tiger cruise happening at the time of 9/11, I have no idea. But school just started. Why would they just send kids out? They're just like, oh, I'm gonna skip school and all over the country and just go on a ship. I don't know. You figured they'd do that over the summer. Anyway, the it's just me. Oh, I gotta work out the canon. So it's yeah, you get to see Maddie Hayden um, see what her dad does under pressure. This is not a leisurely trip anymore. Dad needs to take command. And when Dad speaks up, again, the Independence Day speech chimes in the back of your head. He is everything that you want in a leader. And you see people, especially Chuck, the dad. He has a brother who works at the Pentagon, and he has a strong military history in his family. Who's also a Marine, and he's panicking, and he's telling the captain, "We got to find out. I got to call and find out what happened. If my brother's all right, is my brother alive?" And the kid who likes to play drums, he lives in Staten Island, and he's used to seeing the Twin Towers every day of his life. They're just part of the way things are. It's he has family and friends back there, and he's terrified of what could be happening. And Hayden is kind of given the responsibility of watching over the kids, and she is understanding her father's responsibility with responsibility of her own. And it's him explaining, uh, Bill Pullman explaining what happened in New York is if it doesn't give you goosebumps, you were not alive on 9/11. um, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how you do it. There's the memories from that day. I know where I was at that moment, what I was doing, where everything, and how I felt and how I reacted. Not going to go into that here and now, but uh, well, I'll tell you, I watched news on a big screen TV, 6 inches off the end of my bed at my mom's place for uh, days straight. That's about all I can really remember. Anyway, yeah, you when you hear the Independence Day guy telling you about 9/11, you pay attention, and it shakes you a little bit. This is a Disney Channel movie. Not to be crapping on Disney Channel movies, but they're not known for their budgets or star power. But they got Bill Pullman, and that was some excellent casting. I'm going to tell you that right now. And Hayden also excellent casting. She's a talented girl, and she's a woman now. She has kids. Just so weird. She's all grown up now. But here's for a kid actor. I'm usually pretty harsh on them. She does a really good job as communicating what's going on inside Maddie's head without saying a word, and she comes off as really genuine. Some of the kids are good or bad depending on the scene. Nathaniel Lee Jr., who plays Anthony, the kid who plays drums, he has a really good scene when he explains to Hayden what's going on in New York with his family, what he wants to know, why he's constantly stuck looking at one of the TV screens, and he won't let the little kids watch a movie so they can be distracted. He explains what he's feeling and what he's understanding, and he's really good in that scene. There's a little bit of goofy cheesiness here and there. There's a moment where they blow off steam by playing rhythms in the kitchen with the cook guy who's the son of Chuck. It's kind of goofy. Yes, there's lots of patriotism, and I understand if you don't feel stirred by some of this, especially these days, a lot of people it can come off as super cheesy, but in context, it makes a lot of sense. And so yeah, the tension is real when it comes to everybody. No matter, even though they're on the other side of the United States, you don't know. It was that time when we didn't know what was going to happen next. Were we going to enter World War III? What? Where would they attack next? Would they attack next? And would a ship full of 800 civilians be called into war as they are increasing their armament? You know, what's going to happen? Can they get them back home in time so the ship can be put into active duty without civilians on board? So yeah, I've talked way too much about this. I actually recommend it, and I didn't think I would say that, but of course I had no idea going in. But when I saw the synopsis of it, I was like, yeah, this is going to get cheesy. This is going to get way too over the top. But thankfully, the casting choices in this were what makes it, and it doesn't reach for too much over the top melodrama. Oh, wait, today, okay. I forgot. I'm not going to pick tomorrow's episode. It's already been picked because tomorrow, Lightyear premieres on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Oh, sorry, on Disney Plus. We're going to talk about it on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'm getting confused. I'm tired. All right, so I've already picked that. No big surprise. This is a few times, although I'm going to do that again in a few days. Oh, and in a few days more, it's going to be the 1000th episode. I don't know what I'm going to do for that. I'm going to do something random. I'm going to let it randomly pick it, but if it sucks, I already have another idea. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, I surprisingly recommend this, only just for the context. It's not a great movie overall. It's not going to change your life, but it is not bad. It is pretty good. It's good. So it's when it comes to Disney Plus. Disney Channel movies. You could do a lot worse, and we've proven that on previous episodes over the last 990 some episodes. So yeah, Tiger Cruise. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what I think. And tomorrow we're gonna do Lightyear, starring Chris Evans, Kiki Palmer, on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.